Hi, and welcome to another Marketing Done Right. My name is Rui Nunes, and today I'm going to discuss how many emails you should send to the subscriber database. I know it's a common theme, and most of people don't have that notion, and it's not that hard to adapt your email cadence to each the subscriber database. It all depends on what your brand stands for, how many emails that you are sending, how many of them are relevant for them, and in what the stages your subscribers are on a particular moment. That being said, it's quite difficult, for instance, when you have a recent subscriber that it's getting the exact same email that someone that already have a lot of information about your brand is getting. So, and that means that you are not using segments to really divide your database according to each stages. And that's very important because it's how you are going to make your emails more relevant for them. So what should you do to understand how many emails you should send to each subscriber? Obviously, it's based on analytics. You need to understand what you are doing, and by that, you need to analyze what was done before, how many of the subscribers have opened. From those who opened, how many are reacting, like clicking on which link, and by that you are going to make a lot of segments within your database that it's going to give you more insights about what you need to do on the next sendings that you are doing. It's quite some work that you you need to implement on your email marketing strategy because you need to understand each subscriber stage. On LinkedIn, for instance, I was seeing a post today that I'm recording this video. Someone on LinkedIn has said that she was very annoyed because she recently subscribed to a list of a marketing professional. Maybe he was launching a new course or something like that, but she was very annoyed because she was getting on a week, for instance, she was getting more than one email per day, or even one email per day. It's too much sometimes if they are not delivering a lot of good insights. For instance, one of my references in email marketing is Seth Godin, and he makes a daily email for years now, a daily email, even on weekends. I receive a daily email from him, and I love his emails because it's filled with knowledge and insights, and it's not very hard to read all of the email because it's just snippets of wisdom from his part. So that being said, it's not something that you need to avoid the daily emails. However, you need to understand how they are going to be consumed by the subscribers. If it's something that they can read very quickly, it's something they are expecting from you, and if you have enough relevant things to share with them. So if you don't have that, maybe you can stretch a bit more how many emails you are going to send. For instance, one per week. It's quite fine if you have that strategy, or you just have enough content to share one very good email per week. And even then, you need to understand in which stage each the subscriber are, because you are going to create dynamic content that it's adapt to each stage in which they are. So that being said, actionable tips that you can implement on your email marketing strategy are very easy. In this case, you need to segment your database. You need to understand if the subscriber is quite recent. If he is, you need to have a different approach to the subscriber and not using the same newsletter that you are sending to everyone, unless it's something that it's very time sensitive. For instance, a recent promotion or a sale that you are doing. And if that's the case, and it's something that it's very time sensitive. Maybe you can send, but send some reference before to the recent subscriber. That's why welcoming emails cadence can be very interesting, because in that case, for each subscriber that it's signing up to your database or your list, it's going to have a cadence of emails already prepared for them to explain how many emails you usually send, what kind of content you are producing. In that way, it's not going to be a surprise for them, or even you can give on those welcome emails links for them to edit how many emails they are going to receive in the future. For instance, like a toggle buttons on the preferences center of your email marketing platform. And in that case, they are already giving action and saying to you that they just want to receive one email per week, for instance. So that's one of the things that you can do. Another thing is to segment based on what they have engaged with your emails before. Imagine that you have a launch, a product launch, or a new course, or something like that, and you need to engage with these people and trying to get as much of interactions and subscriptions from your list in a very short time. So you can the preparing all of the product launch in that case, but what you need also to do is to be clever and just sending emails based on what these the subscribers have done the before. Imagine this: you are going to send an email and someone has not opened, or you don't see any tracking about they opened or clicked on your newsletter or your email. In that case, you can send a reminder 1 or 2 days later, and in that case it's something that eventually it's not going to annoy these people that much, because they haven't opened the previous ones. However, if you've noticed that they have opened your email or clicked on that email, you are not going to massacre everyone about the product launch that you are going to do, because in that case you are going to annoy a lot of people, because they are seeing constantly about your the product launch. I know that sometimes marketers say that, okay, so it's not if people are getting annoyed and they are unsubscribing from your list because you are sending them emails about your product or service and they are not interested. In that case, it's fine, because it's almost like a filter. In that case, the only ones that are going to stay are the ones that are going to buy. That's one argument that you can, it's understandable that you think so. However, I usually think a bit far ahead. What I see is that the people are interested in your brand, but for some reason, by the content that you are producing, you are not getting their attention and they feel that you don't care about them. So it's quite, in my perspective, for the brand, it's something that you should find a way to change this. Okay, so my point here, it's to, before you are sending a new email, you need to check the analytics and see if they are opening, how many emails they are opening, if they are clicking. If they are not clicking on the actionable links that you are placing there, eventually it means that they are not that interested on what you are offering at that moment. That doesn't mean that they are not going to find something more interesting in the future. However, you need to understand the analytics of these emails, and if they are opening but not clicking on the buttons to see the new course or something that you are launching, that means they are not very fond of that information. If that's the case, you need to step back from your aggressive approach to the launch. And for these subscribers, you are giving some space and then enroll them again on a nurture campaign with more information about your brand in the future, but not with that email cadence that you are doing for the launch of the product. For the ones that are interacting, but then you have analytics on the landing page that it's monitoring if they are really interested on the product itself, you need to understand how you are going to produce content that it's also going to be interesting for them. For instance, if they have clicked on the button that you have for the new course and they are going to the landing page and then they are not converting immediately, maybe you can send more information on 1 day, 2 days, whatever, but with information that it's not there on the landing page. More information that it's not there, because otherwise it's going to be, oh, it's the same thing that I've seen on the landing page. Why is this brand bothering me again with the same information? So you need to understand how much information they have and why haven't they subscribed to your course, or in this case I'm using course like an example. However, it could be something else like a new service or something that you are providing. Final conclusions: you need to analyze what people are doing with the emails that you are sending. Okay, and that means what they are opening, what they are clicking, what information they see on the landing page, how you can send the next email with relevant information for them based on what they have engaged with information or the emails that you sent before and the pages they've seen. That means that you need to connect everything about the analytics on your end. And based on that, you are going to then find the sweet spot of information that you need to send to these people, because you shouldn't just annoy your subscribers up to the point they are going to unsubscribe or clicking on the spam button. So that's the main tip that I've got for you. It's to analyze everything about what they have done up so far. And when you are sending emails, don't just sending to every subscriber the same thing, because they are not on the same stage. You need to use the dynamic content on your emails, and in that case it's going to be much more relevant for all of them, because it's going to be based on each segment they are. To send relevant messages more than how many times you are going to send emails for them in a month or whatever you have on schedule, it's to send relevant messages. Sometimes your brand can get away with one email per day if your newsletter it's about that. For instance, Morning Brew, it's a daily email with everything about the financial and economic information about the world. So in that case, it's something that daily it can be interesting, because it's a snapshot of what's the most interesting thing about the financial state of the world in that day. But if it's from a brand that it's always trying to sell something, obviously it's not that good, because we are getting bored and we have already enough emails in our inbox to get a new email from your brand trying to sell something that nobody in your list is interested in that moment. So that's it. I hope you find it useful, and if you did, please subscribe, like this video, and share with your friends, because it's the only way it's going to grow and eventually even influence someone to get their email newsletters right. Okay? So thank you. Bye bye.